Good morning, everybody. My name is Nagachandrika Pallam, M.Pharmacy Assistant Professor. So, today my topic is Drug Regulatory Affairs for the B.Pharmacy 4th year's first semester in the subject of Pharmaceutical Industrial Pharmacy 2. Okay. So, before going to the subject, we will learn what are the objectives. So, what we will get from this subject? So, we will get knowledge and skills required to help companies to work in regulatory environment, and not only that, the foundation work within the variety of areas like medical product development and also the pharmaceutical formulations, sales, strategic marketing and clinical investigations. So we will learn about this one. Not only that, the regulatory processing, which regulatory authorities are involving in this drug development and formulations and API, that we will learn. And not only that, understanding of the laws. By this, what we will learn the understanding of the laws and how it governs the developing, the manufacturing and commercialize along with the distribution of the drugs and biological and medical devices. These are the learning objects. Coming to our main subject, drug regulatory affairs. Drug regulatory affairs is a profession. Okay, it is a profession which acts as a interface between the pharmaceutical industries and drug regulatory authorities around the world. Here, the drug regulatory authority is nothing but government authorities. See, it acts as an interface between or the bridge between the pharmaceutical industry and the regulatory authorities. It will help the regulatory authorities deals with the guidelines. Regulatory guidelines means controlling how to control this manufacturing companies with the guidelines, how to follow the guidelines with regarding the safety, quality and efficacy. So these guidelines provided by the regulatory authorities and how to maintain these regulatory, so it is maintained by the regulatory. It is acts as a bridge between these two pharmaceutical industries and drug regulatory authorities. Next, coming to what is goal. So our ultimate goal is protection of the human health. So how we will protect this human health? By ensuring the safety, efficacy, quality only. So how we will ensure this safety and efficacy and quality means, already you know that. What do you mean by safety? Safety means when we are administering a drug, the drug should show some pharmacological action, then only it will sorry, safety means when we are administering a drug, the drug should not interact with any organ or any organ or any compound, otherwise it will leads to toxic effects. So it should reach us to the site of action only, that we call it as a safety. Efficacy means whatever the drug you are using, that drug should show the pharmacological action. Why we are taking the drugs? To show the pharmacological action only. Quality, how we will maintain means by maintaining the guidelines, we can ensure this quality. Okay, so ICH, how these three things maintain means by guidelines. What are the guidelines? These regulatory authorities follows the regulatory guidelines. So what are these regulatory guidelines means? ICH guidelines. ICH is nothing but the International Conference on Harmonization of technical requirements to the pharmaceutical industry for human use. So entire definition you should write. So you should not write like, oh, it is an international conference on harmonization. You should not write like that. Nowadays a conference is replaced by a council, so we call it as an International Council on Harmonization for the technical requirements of the pharmaceutical industries for the human use. So sorry. So how it is giving the guidelines means it is maintaining by ICH guidelines are the four types of the guidelines they are providing specifications. One is the quality guidelines in this Q1, Q2, Q3 like that. In safety guidelines they are S1, S2, S3 like that guidelines they are providing, and efficacy means E1, E2, E3, and the fourth one is the management disciplinary management in that also, but the GMP guidelines they are providing. So these are the guidelines. With the guidelines we can maintain the safety, efficacy, and the quality. So why it is needed, how it is origin, why it is developing a regulatory affairs. So before back in 1950, due to the multiple tragedies happen. So multiple tragedies happen. So what are the tragedies means sulfanilamide elixir, and vaccine tragedy means polio vaccine tragedy, and thalidomide tragedy happened. So sulfonamide tragedy, we will discuss about sulfanilamide elixir. So it is who prepared this one means Harold Goldwackin. He prepared this drug, and to ensure this appearance, what he added the diethyl glycol to this sulfonamide. What happened by this, at the time he did not know that, he compounded these two drugs, and he dispensed them to the public. So what happens, these leads to the toxic effects. So many deaths happen by this sulfonamide elixir. So it is when it is reaching to the market, what happened, the 71 adults and 34 children died in fall of 1937 after taking this elixir of the sulfonamide. So, sulfonamide actually it is a antibacterial agent, and to treat a variety of ailments like gonorrhea to sore throat. So at the time there is no government regulations or the guidelines. There are no guidelines. So what happened, they just compounded and they are dispensing it to the market, they are releasing it to the market. So what happened, so many deaths happen. So this provoking of the 1938 Food and Drug Cosmetics Acts, which gave the FDA power to monitor the safety of the drugs. So it is a very necessity to urgent need to rationalize and harmonize the regulations was impelled by concerning over the rising cost of the healthcare. So it is provoked. So not only that, next one is the thalidomide incident. Thalidomide, it is a tranquilizer, which is for whom we are giving means for the pregnant woman we are giving. So what purpose means, to treat the morning sickness. Okay, to treat the morning sickness or the nausea we are giving. So at the time it is tablets that are dispensed. So after taking these thalidomide tablets, what happened, this drug, they did not know that this drug can cross through the placenta and reaches to the fetus. Here see the fetus. So what happens, the so many fetal deaths occur. So out of 20,000 tablets dispensed in the released into the market, and out of these 20,000 tablets, 3,000 fatal deaths happen, and 2,000 members suffered with this. After given birth, they are suffered with the malformation of the malformation of the bones happen. That means without limbs they born. So see how tragedy it is. So malformation of the bones. For the adults, what happened? This is the peripheral neuritis happen. Okay. So this is the biggest tragedy happening there. So by this they thought that it is a urgent need to rationalize and harmonize the regulation was impelled by concerns over rising cost of the healthcare and accelerated of the cost of the R&D. Not only that, cost of the R&D also, and public expectations should be minimum to delay in a making of the safety and efficacy of the new treatment available to the patients in need. So next, coming to why we need what is the role of, so okay, it is why we need a DRA. So actually what it does, okay, So actually what it does means that it is a its role is a registration documents to the regulatory agency and to keep track on every change in a legislation and to give the strategic and technical advice to the R&D and production and QC department and QC department. So the registration means how we will registration for the approval of the drug, for registration of the drug, for IND work and AND work, the NDA work, ANDA work. These R&D department will act as a agent, acts as a agent, and not only that, if any changes in legislation, they will keep track and they will intimate to this manufacturing unit or the pharmaceutical industry. They are intimated to the pharmaceutical industry, not only to the public. So it is if any technical needs, technical advices or scientific advices they need means they will provide it to the R&D, not only to the R&D, they will provide it to the production, QC and QC departments also. They will provide the information. So regulatory, actually these regulatory affairs, it is a actually sorry, excuse me. So in this basic DRA stands for the concepts of all substances. All substances are the poisonous. So no substance is, none substance is except for the poison. So what it differentiate between the poison and remedy means the right amount of the dose only it will gives the remedy, otherwise it will leads to the poison. So no drug product is completely safe for efficacy in all circumstances. So there is a moral as well as a legal exceptions of the steps in taking the assurance of the optimal quality, safety and efficacy. So already it is maintained by these, all this safety and efficacy is maintained by the ICH guidelines. So this is the RDA role, already we discussed. So what are the different regulatory authorities maintaining this safety, efficacy, concerned about this safety, efficacy and quality? So in our India, the organization, what is the organization means SEDESCO. SEDESCO is nothing but the Central Drug Standard Control Organization. Okay, so it is situated in New Delhi. So US is nothing but the Food Drug Administration, that also call it as a US FDA. UK is nothing but the Medicines and Healthcare Products the regulatory agencies. And Australia very very important, all those things they are asking in your GPAT exams. So they will ask in abbreviated form, so you have to write it in full form. Okay, so they will ask like this. So the Therapeutic Goods Administration. And next in Japan is the Japanese Ministry of the Health, Labor and Welfare. And Europe is the European Directorate for the Quality of the Medicines and European Medicinal Evaluations. Next one, why these drug regulatory affairs needed? So already we discussed this safety and efficacy of the to ensure the safety and efficacy of the pharmaceutical product. Not only they will do the drug registrations to the drug registration to the pharmaceutical companies, and not only it will gather all the information related to the pharmaceutical product while about the after reaching the farms market. Also they will collect everything, each and every information they will collect and they will keep in track. Okay, next not only that, it reduces the number of development failures, like while by conducting the clinical trials, by conducting the clinical trials, it will reduces the number of failures, like sulfonamide elixir tragedy and thalidomide tragedy. Okay, so what are the issues DRA department provide assistance means licensing, registration, development, manufacturing, quality guidance, pricing, marketing, and GMP. GMP is nothing but the good manufacturing practice. GLP is nothing but the good laboratory practice, and GCP is nothing but the good clinical practice. And not only that, the patents, regarding the patents, copyrights, trademark, and pharmacovigilance, everything they are giving the assistance. So licensing to pharmacovigilance, everything they are giving assistance to this pharmaceutical industry. And not only the pharmaceutical industry, it giving advices to the drug regulatory authorities also. And so already we discussed these are the drug development in order to develop the most already we discussed this one. So, what are the different documents prepared and maintained by the DRA departments? So, what are the different departments? The licensing and certificates obtained by the drug regulator, that is like the license. Regarding the license certificates, they will maintain the license certificates, and GMP certificates, and manufacturing certificates, and ISO and International Standard Organization, that also, and common technical document certificates also they will maintain, and also license also maintain, and drug master files they are maintaining, and clinical trials reports. All those things we will discuss in detail in next classes. This is just only the introduction. Okay, so what are the different departments involved in this DRM is they are involving in the regulator, that is like a manufacturing license, GMP, SSO, and CTD means common technical document, drug master files, and clinical reports like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4 clinical trials, and BA/BE reports means bioavailability and bioequivalence reports, and quality audits and reports. They are also it also giving assistance to the quality audits and the reports, and the applications for the obtaining the patents, copywriting, trademarks, and registration. Everything they are giving guidance to this pharmaceutical industry.